Let me see. How about now? Do we have any sort of sound now? I don't know. I'm just pushing buttons now and hoping something works, but I don't know if it's actually working or not. So.
I would help.
I see sound bubbles moving. I think it's working.
I would help, but I don't know.
No, it's fine. I understand. I don't know. Oh, look, there it is. It is working. Okay,
Yay!
so it's working.
Hello.
So strange. So if you missed any of the first part of the show, we've been talking just nothing but slanderous things about Josh and Jeff and everybody else that's been on here. For those of you that want to hear the first part of the show, we apologize, of course, that apparently it wasn't coming through. It was working on our end, but apparently it wasn't for some reason. But you can listen to the first part of the show live on Spreaker. We do also broadcast live on YouTube as well, too. So apologies for whatever reason. Basically, to recap, Jaymee can't believe the Predators swept, and we played Barney.
Yeah.
You didn't miss anything else. So just
and someone asked me why I was wearing a Buffalo sweater yesterday.
Was it Tanner? Was Tanner drunk at the bar
No,
last night? Yeah. Well, you were a Buffalo sweater.
The best part about it is he was a Bucks fan, and if you know anything about me, I don't really care for the Bucks. So that just made it.
Unbelievable.
Made me feel a little better inside.
Oh, my goodness. One of the other things that has to do with what's brewing this morning, so we've already talked about Milwaukee. People love getting free stuff, right? You love getting free stuff. Yep. You feel it makes you a special sense of, I don't want to say entitlement, but you like the feeling of getting something free, right? Mm-hmm. Usually, I mean,
Yeah, because you don't have to pay for it.
Well, yeah, that's the best part, obviously. But so the University of North Carolina apparently got something free. I mean, we already know that the basketball team gets all their Jordans because Michael Jordan went to UNC, but their football team apparently got something as well.
They did. They got a new pair of Jordan 11s that were going to be in their locker. For them.
Their locker. Okay. And I think we have the video here as well too, so let's pull that baby up.
One of the benefits of being a Jordan school now, and a Jumpman school, is that in your metal lockers, you all get these retro 11
People just losing their damn minds. It's a pair of shoes, guys.
Right.
Chill out.
They didn't buy you a new house.
Chill out.
Yeah,
Lord, I get it. Yeah, it's great to be excited, but really?
Yeah, I thought that was a little extreme.
Little extreme, personally. Like, guys are jumping around like it's not. And I found it funny too because this article was from Barstool, and the person that wrote it was like, well, it's not like these people were like, oh, we're gonna pay your tuition, or like, oh, we're gonna actually pay you to be an athlete now, or oh, here's a meal stipend, like the whole like pay athletes to play kind of thing. It was nothing to do with that. It was just like, oh, here's a pair of shoes.
And maybe they're super cool shoes. I don't know.
But still, to freak out like that, like that doesn't make a lot of sense to me personally. I was a little, but they're young. They're young adolescents, I guess. I mean, what do you expect from them? I suppose
they're $200 pair of shoes.
$200.
Which,
Lord.
Okay, like that's a lot for a pair of shoes, but enough to freak out? No. Pay off my car for me, and then I'll freak out.
If you walked in and was like, Baxter, here's a pair of shoes, I'd be like, oh my gosh, thank you. But I wouldn't be like, what?
Thank you so much. Yeah, why didn't Tanner do that when you brought him Starbucks yesterday?
He should have. Did you see what happened to him?
No.
It was bad. Like, both of us, we were jittery. Like, I had my full one. He didn't even make it through half. But, like, he was feeling dizzy. He was, like, he said his throat was starting to, like, get itchy. Like, I couldn't stop smiling. My jaw hurt. Like, it was bad. There was a lot going on. And Tanner was already kind of feeling sick yesterday when he came in, and then I gave him that, and then he just basically put him over the edge. He just laid on the couch in the studio for probably about an hour after the show. He was like, I hate my life.
That's funny.
Do not do it. I'm telling you right now. Don't get the unicorn.
I won't.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it. We are asking the questions this morning, of course, on Facebook of will you attend an NFL game this season, and what is at your tailgate? We are assembling a massive list so we know officially how to party better, thanks to all the amazing people that are out there. Brew saying good morning. Troy believes that we should just have an entire show just talking about the Predators, apparently. So
I'm down.
Josh says, look like Oprah just said they were getting a car. Yeah, it really did. Like, you're all getting a car. Like, even the people on Oprah that, like, got the free stuff don't freak out that bad.
You get a car. You get a car.
Or, like, I mean, even in studio audiences, like, I would like to feel like I know myself fairly well. And, like, if I'm at Ellen or if I'm at The Tonight Show and they're like, oh, here's a brand new KitchenAid. Oh, you all get a KitchenAid. I'd be like, whoa, like, that's cool. But, like, I'm not, like, crying and freaking out, like, it's the way some people do. I think it's more so just like, really embellish it, sell it, people, sell it. Like, come on. Just seems a bit ridiculous to me.
I don't know if that was staged, though. There's probably like one hype in the...
Like, woo! I mean, you go to UNC to play football. I mean, how hyped can you really get, honestly? I have no idea. Here's a good stat that I don't know if you heard, Jaymee. Josh says he heard a stat this morning while he was driving to work that 12 of the 13 goals the Predators scored in the series were by former Admirals players.
I did hear that.
Wow. Mm-hmm. That's impressive right there.
Well, game 1, Victor Arvidsson, he played for us. Game 2, Philip Forsberg and
I love Philip.
Or this was game 3. I'm sorry. Philip Forsberg and Fiala. Can't name all 5 from game 2. And then yesterday was Yossi had two goals. And who else scored?
Somebody else.
I don't know. But yeah, because there's 16 or 18 former Admirals players on the Predators roster. Mm-hmm.
Oh, dang. Mm-hmm. Oh, dang. Oh, dang. Chris chiming in this morning as well, too, for our poll question. He says, planning on attending all 8 regular season games plus playoffs. He is a Seattle Seahawks fan. So he is gearing up to go and check out that. Jeff is just getting into the broadcast again late. He said, so how about those Predators? Well, we've already hit that. But, I mean, now that we have sound again, I guess. I mean, how about them Predators, Jaymee?
Oh, God, I know.
Oh, my gosh. Jaymee's super excited. So it is a Flashback Friday as well, too, which we will get to in just a little while. But I do want to bring on our NFL correspondent, Ian DeMars, this morning to talk about the wonderful world that is the NFL. The schedule dropping last night at 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 Eastern. The NFL world is beside themselves excited so they can finally figure out all the teams that they're going to be playing. Ian does join us this morning. So, Ian, a very good morning to you, sir. How are you today?
Good morning, Baxter and Jaymee. Doing well. Hope you guys are doing well as well.
Absolutely. It's a great day to be alive. Jaymee's besides herself, just excited not only about the Predators, but it's just a good day. Yesterday, I think, was just a good day overall.
Yeah.
I mean, today's Friday, so the weekend is basically here as well, too. So nothing really to complain about, let's be honest. But, Ian, the schedule coming out last night, a lot of people were starting to get information early because of some of the leaks on Twitter and other various platforms of social media. But how do you mark your calendar for schedule release day? Like, are you one of those avid fans that freaks out when it comes to the schedule being released, or do you kind of forget about it and then it's like, oh, schedule's out, cool, like I should go look at it?
Well, I usually know that the schedule comes out around the time of the NFL draft, and then I heard early in the week that, the schedule's coming out Thursday. I'm like, oh, sweet. I wonder how many home games I might be able to go to for the Packers this year, because I know me and my buddy, we got to see Atlanta, but they don't play Atlanta at home. They go to Atlanta. So that was kind of disappointing to hear. But it is definitely, if you're a big NFL fan, you definitely are one of them who always wants to make sure they know when the schedule comes out. And I was glad to see that the schedule came out yesterday. And I was glad to see that the Cleveland Browns are not playing any primetime games this year.
Thank the Lord for that.
The only 2 teams not playing a primetime game. I was happy to see that.
And I think the NFL has learned their lesson with that one, Ian. They're like, okay, we're gonna dial it back and not completely destroy our ratings by having 2 of the worst teams playing this year on primetime games. But I just want to focus mainly on the 3 games that are going to be taking place, the big 3 games that are taking place on opening weekend. The Thursday night football game, New England opening against the Chiefs. This will be the first time, of course, that we'll see New England post all of the craziness that's been taking place, not only with Tom Brady's jersey, but, of course, with Aaron Hernandez and all the other, who knows what's going to take place by that point. But do you agree with that they should play this game on a Thursday night? Shouldn't this be more of a hyped-up game on like a Sunday or a Monday night football instead of a Thursday night football game?
I mean, it'd be nice to see it on Sunday night, but just looking at how the NFL has been the last few years, they always put that defending champion typically playing the first game of the season on Thursday night. And if it was New England playing a team that wasn't in the playoffs last year, I would say that this wouldn't be that good of a game to have for the first game of the year. But the fact that they're playing the Chiefs that have played really well against the Patriots the past few years does make it a very exciting game to have that first game of the year. And also the fact that Roger Goodell should be in attendance to that game. And
it's about time.
Lots of speculation about when he's going to be at their next game after the whole Deflategate incident.
Looking at the Packers week 1, we see that they're going to be playing the Seahawks. And if you've been following anything in the sports world, you know that Chinese food-loving Eddie Lacy is going to be playing for the Seahawks. How do you see that game going down?
It'll be a good game for sure. I feel like Lacy's going to he'll get booed a little bit, but I feel like he'll get
You think he's
I
going to
don't know.
get booed?
He'll get a good applause from the crowd as they know that they love Lacey, but they do know that it was probably his time to go. I mean, even if he did stay around, I mean, not many people were thinking he was going to be staying past next season if he did stay. But it'll definitely be a good game. Hopefully, it'll be better. I mean, if you're a Packer fan, you would want Russell Wilson to throw the 5 picks that he did, I believe,
Right.
last year. It'll definitely be a great game to watch, especially with it being the first week of the season.
Do you buy into the whole narrative about Green Bay and Seattle being this new founded rivalry because of the issues that, not the issues, but the team, the way the games have gone the last couple of times with the playoffs and other massive implications? Or are we trying to force this as the media to be like, Green Bay, Seattle, this is a huge rivalry. They've hated each other for years. Like, they've had a couple of notable games leading up to, the NFC Championship game. But aside from that, I feel like we're always trying to make something out of nothing. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, the NFL does try to make unknown rivalries happen, and I feel like that this is one of those situations right here. But I mean, you look at just the past history, it does make it seem like it is kind of a rivalry. I mean, look at the wild card playoffs back, I believe, and it was 2004 when Matt Hasselbeck won the coin toss for Seattle, and they predicted that they were going to score, and then he ended up throwing the winning score to the Packers. So it doesn't seem like it should be a rivalry, but just because of what happened then and how what happened with the NFC Championship game a couple years ago with the comeback by Seattle, and then just look at the game last year, I do believe that it is starting to become somewhat of a rivalry, even though it's not really a big rivalry as people would say, or one of the bigger rivalries known in the NFL.
Yeah, and I would agree with you on that one too. I mean, it certainly is exciting because you have the new guard that is Seattle trying to still be relevant. Of course, they had that the Legion of Boom for a long time also, and Green Bay has been just notoriously good for basically the last 20 plus years, which I know annoys a lot of people, especially Tanner as being a Bills fan. But aside from that, I mean, you look at what Green Bay has done consistently. I mean, they're a great team to watch, and they're exciting, and everybody always is looking for that one team to come in and knock them down, and it's been Seattle a little bit here and there because of their great defense.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like that if this is a close game this year, then this rivalry is going to keep on going. If it's a blowout like last year, then this rivalry that people are saying is a rivalry is probably going to end.
We see that the Cowboys play the Giants on Sunday Night Football. Sorry.
Take two.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah. Cowboys play the Giants Sunday Night Football.
Correct.
How do you think the Cowboys will come back from their loss against the Packers in the playoffs? And are the Giants going to be better with Brandon Marshall?
That's kind of a toss-up just because of everything that's happened with Eli Manning recently with the fraud memorabilia. You look at he's got some time to recover from it, but that's an issue that he's going to be dealing with going up to the season. And you look at the Cowboys last year, where people thought, this could be the year they make the Super Bowl, when I had predicted that they would lose their first game before the playoffs, and they ended up losing because of having such a young team. But I feel that it's going to be a good game. I was kind of disappointed seeing that it was the Giants and Cowboys, because I feel like they always put them playing against each other in week one. And it's nice to see them playing, but you see them playing week one all the time. It'd be nice to see them switch it up a little bit. I do feel that with the Giants getting Brandon Marshall, it will help them out, especially going against the secondary in Dallas, which hasn't been the best over the past couple of years. And it wouldn't surprise me if the Giants pull up the upset on that Sunday night game.
Last thing for you here, quick in before we let you go. Cam asks a question here on Facebook. He said, is there any chance the Packers grab a running back like Jamal Charles, Adrian Peterson, or Garrett Blunt? I've voiced my opinion about this numerous times. I think Jaymee has as well, too. But what say you, as someone obviously that is here in the Cheesehead State and supports the Packers, but also covers the league as a whole? Any chance of the Packers making a move on one of these three big running backs?
I feel like they will, but it's only if they don't address it in the draft next week. I feel like the Packers might now be in position to get a pretty good running back. I know a lot of people were saying before that they could draft McCaffrey, but he's been going up on mock drafts and could be a top 10 pick now. So I feel that They could maybe draft one with their first pick. Might be Dalvin Cook if he drops that low, or it could be Kamara from Tennessee. But I feel that the only way they'll go after one of those guys is if they don't address it during the draft. And if they don't address it during the draft, then who knows what Ted Thompson's going to do, just because Ted Thompson, usually he'll make one decently sized splash during the offseason, and then he'll just go completely silent for the rest of the offseason. But looking at the fact that Adrian Peterson is still unsigned, which means his value is decreasing every day, could mean something big for the Packers, knowing that they could sign him for less. And Adrian Peterson wants to find somewhere. He wants to go somewhere where he can win. And you put him in Green Bay, and you already have a great offense as it is, but putting him there would make it even better. So if they don't draft a running back, I feel like they will end up signing someone.
And I completely agree with you on that one, Ian. I'm very excited to see what the Packers do come draft time, but also, of course, when it comes to the remainder of free agency. We never know with Ted Thompson, that's for sure, so the Packers will just have to wait and see. But, Ian, we appreciate you swinging by. Where can they find you on social media, sir?
You can find me on Twitter. My Ian DeMars at sportsdude_603. You can follow me on Facebook, and if you want to look at my Instagram photos, I am Ian the Watchdog _75.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Ian. We'll talk to you soon, sir. Thank you.
All right, great. Thanks, guys.
All right, there goes Ian DeMars, one of our NFL correspondents here on the Morning Brew. Good to hear from him. Some good insight as well, too. Jaymee, you were making fun of me a little bit before the show because you came into the show, you're like, oh, your girlfriend is getting taken over.
Oh, I did.
I mean, first of all, I'm very happily married. I just want everyone to know that. But, I mean, was this my celebrity sports girlfriend, I guess?
Yeah.
Is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean, do we need to address this right now? I guess we certainly can. If you feel like it is such a necessity for me to.
Ronda Rousey's off the market.
Just hurts.
It's okay.
No, I mean, I don't necessarily know if I'm fascinated with Ronda Rousey. I think she's a pretty lady, and I think she is fun. But like, I'm not.
You almost put her at your breakfast table.
I thought I did.
Oh,
She did.
You put her at your breakfast table.
Yeah, I make her brunch. She's a
Yeah.
nice gal. But I'm not like freaking out. I'm not
Right.
like, oh my gosh, Ronda, no.
Right. Well, everyone knew this was coming anyways after her first loss. She was like, I just want to make babies with Travis. So.
And I love how the people are reporting that she's going to be getting engaged. She's not even engaged.
Yeah.
It's just she's planning to get engaged. Like.
Yeah, me too. Someday.
Breaking news! Somebody break that
no,
right now.
it says
Jaymee,
that they are. I'm sorry.
Well, the article that I read, at least, yeah, Ronda Rousey is getting engaged.
Where are you reading that?
At least on the article that I'm looking at on the Big Lead. Well, it's so interesting because the video that they have on the Big Lead, it starts by saying Ronda Rousey is getting engaged, where the headline says Ronda Rousey and Travis Brown are engaged. Somebody messed up, okay, at the Big Lead. Somebody figure that out. Get your acts together, USA Today Sports.
Let's just pretend she's actually engaged.
So she's actually engaged. Well done. Huzzah.
Good for you.
So she started her career off 12-0, and then, of course, we all remember her getting drop-kicked in the head by Holly Holm and then Amanda Nunez and da-da-da-da-da, and it just all went downhill from there. But I've made this argument on numerous shows before that, listen, she has more money outside the ring than she will ever make inside the ring from her endorsements, from her acting, just from her being her. I mean, why not retire, have a family, relax,
Right.
get
She
married.
already set a bar for women's,
Yeah, women's
MMA,
sports as a
UFC,
whole.
yeah, so-
Yeah.
You go get married, Rhonda.
Get it, girl.
You go, girl.
They've been dating since 2015, so I mean, in the grand scheme of things, 2 years. It's about that time.
Pretty average.
That's when my wife and I got engaged, was after 2 years. You're still waiting. Just waiting for your boys down at whatever hockey teams that you support. We heard your Fab Four that you brought to brunch with you the other day to your smoke show.
A smoke show brunch. I'm not mad about it.
Getting some brisket, some smoky brisket. You're like, all right, guys, I'm going to eat breakfast off of each of your abs, and then we'll go from there. Whatever happens after that I'm not responsible. We'll just pretend like it never happened, I guess.
I wouldn't be mad.
No, absolutely not. Cam also chiming in based off of the thing that Ian said on Facebook, saying that he did agree with what we were saying. He said, "Yep, I agree," and that one splash was probably Martellus Bennett. But thanks, guys. And Cam also says, "Love you, Jaymee."
Hi, Cam.
What up, Cam? Cameron? Is that like a?
His name's Cameron. Witty.
Cheeky.
He's witty.
What's with all you and your cheeky friends?
I don't know.
You got all these cheeky friends. Luis is also chiming in as well, too. Good morning to you, Luis. Great to see you. A lot of other funny things chiming in, of course. We are asking the questions this morning. Will you attend an NFL game this season? And what's at your tailgate? I have yet to hear from any folks what's going to be at their tailgate today. You would like to think a lot of people would be all about that life because some people bring a lot of random stuff to their tailgates.
Like they have the same thing that they bring every time.
Right. So since we are on this topic as well, too, if we just got done talking with Ian DeMars, do you plan to attend any NFL games this season, preseason or regular?
I do. Let's see. Last year, I think I went to 2.
You and Big Ken went last year, right?
Yep. Big Ken and I went to a game, and then I went to the game on Christmas Eve with my best friend.
Oh,
But I think that's the only games I went to.
I've never been to a regular season NFL game.
Oh, really?
I've been to several preseason games. My wife and I and two of our good friends went to the Packers-Browns preseason game last year, and it was enjoyable. I mean, the atmosphere as a whole. I mean, I worked at Lambeau Field for a summer, so I the majesty of it, I guess, still obviously is amazing. But at the same time, like when people walk in, they're like, "Oh, it's Lambeau Field." I'm just like, "Yeah, it's gorgeous." Like,
right.
I've already been. It's kind of like, and I feel bad about that.
I've been there. I've done that.
Like especially like I've been in like the caverns. Like I've gotten to walk through the tunnel and do everything crazy like that, like behind the scenes. But that's how I feel about when I'm growing up in Florida as well too. When people are like, "Oh, it's beautiful." I'm like, "Yeah, I lived there for 8 years. Lived by the beach. My family still lives in a resort."
People say that about Sheboygan too. They're like, "Oh my God, you're from
my
Sheboygan."
God.
I'm like, "Yes,
you,
it's so beautiful."
They call it Chevegas for a reason because it's the sexiest part of the state. Or everybody strips, one of the two. Probably more accurate, I guess, from the stories I've
There's not
heard.
that many strip clubs.
Really?
Yeah.
Sheboygan's got to have at least one.
2.
Two?
Well, Sheboygan County has 2. Sheboygan has.
So what is
1.
Sheboygan County? Sheboygan Falls?
Yeah, like Plymouth.
How close are the falls to Sheboygan?
5-minute drive.
Why not just make it one city?
I don't know.
Just absorb. You guys should march on
Because it's the
Sheboygan
historic
Falls.
Sheboygan Falls.
Take it over. Lead a charge.
I
Plant
think you have
a
to
flag.
go through. Wait, you have to go through Kohler to get to Falls, though.
Sheboygan's bigger than all of these cities. Why do they not just
Yeah.
take it over?
I don't know, because Sheboygan's gross. Sheboygan Falls is like.
What if like cities started just like taking over other cities, just walking in? And
It
just
would never
being-
happen. Kohler's right there. They'd be like, "We have more power than you. We're Kohler. Don't speed. You have to go the speed limit in Kohler."
Otherwise, they get you.
Yeah.
Snap.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot. Sarah says yes, she is going to go to a NFL game this season. She says Chiefs at Denver, New Year's Eve.
Yeah, Sarah. I'll go. I'm down.
Is that an invite to you as well?
Oh, I thought you were saying she said I was. Just kidding. I don't want to go. We probably have a hockey game. You can't go.
Yeah, Sarah, I'll go.
Because I was like, I want to go to Mexico for New Year's Eve. Like, girls' trip. And then I was like, we got to
You
wait
should
for
go see a Mexico. You
Yeah,
should go
wait
see
for
the
the
NFL game that is taking place in Mexico.
What is that?
Patriots Raiders. I want to say like week 7, week 8, something like that, down at the Azteca in Mexico City.
That'd be cool. But
I think that'd be awesome.
Probably have a hockey game.
Probably, unless we buy you out.
Right.
We're working on that. Our agents are talking to your agents. We're planning on buying you out so you don't ever have to work again and just talk about sports full time.
Perfect. Speaking of sports, duh. But Baxter and I were talking about this earlier. I saw an article about the Bears.
What'd you call me?
Baxter?
Pretty sure you said Braxton.
I've never said that. No. It's probably my new Invisalign retainers. Just lift it away.
Anyway.
Braxton and I, that time I did it on purpose. We're talking about.
Really?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have guessed.
Really?
Just go. Just talk.
We're talking about how the Bears
I like you, Jaymee. Don't ruin it.
have increased their season ticket prices by 2.5%. But however, their selling point
2.5%.
of why they've raised their tickets and why you should continue to buy them because their season ticket holder numbers have dropped is because you'll have tickets to the San Francisco and the Cleveland game and their inferior teams.
I'm sorry, what?
And that's their selling point.
They actually come out and say because the Browns and the 49ers are less, or wait, how do I phrase that?
So to
Are
be fair,
more inferior?
This is the first ticket hike in 3 years, and playing inferior teams increases the likelihood of hometown fans can ride the warmth of the victory.
And this is off the back of the Bears finishing 3-13 last year, the Browns finishing 1-15, and the 49ers finishing 2-14.
Mm-hmm.
So,
They're pretty much the same.
I mean, like, really? I feel like this is absolutely stupid because what Why you can't call these teams inferior? Like what? You got one more win than they did? Good for you. Like,
Right.
You're all still awful football teams.
Right.
Like the fact that you're calling Cleveland worse than Chicago, I would take Cleveland over Chicago. And I would probably not, well, I wouldn't take San Fran over Chicago, but I would take Cleveland over Chicago for sure. But
Yeah.
I just find that really foolish on their part. Like, we're going to just play them and we're going to give you these great deals because they're more inferior than we are. They suck a little bit more than we do.
Yeah. Good selling point.
I guess if you're into that kind of thing, that just blows my mind a little bit personally.
Yeah.
Seems a bit surprising, a little foolish, but what do I know?
I agree.
I'm just a kid. Speaking of sucking, Tim Tebow has apparently just not been doing well recently. After we remember him going yard twice to start off the season, everybody was freaking out like, major league call up. He's since batted 156 in single A baseball.
Poor guy.
So he's been a part of 12 games. He's been hitting a robust 156 with an on-base percentage of 224 while slugging 289. He's been at bat 45 times. He's had 7 hits, 5 runs scored, 13 total bases, 3 walks, and 13 strikeouts.
He's had 3 hits in his last 28 at-bats while facing 20-year-old kids.
It was at that moment that Tim Tebow realized he messed up.
He just hop back behind the desk.
Get back behind the desk. Do you think that that this is a one and done business, that he just goes back to the SEC network and is like,
I think
all
he
right.
should. I don't know if he will. I think he should.
I think Tim is
like, good
just
for trying.
Tim
but
is just such a fighter and is such a pure athlete that he just wants to play the game. He loves the game. Like,
Right.
I would still
okay,
go out
play
and
in
play
bar
too.
league on Thursday nights. It's fine.
Nobody wants Tim Tebow hitting 450-yard home runs in bar league.
I'd take him on my team.
I know. I'm not saying you wouldn't. Like, you'd take him on your team for a lot of things, but like, I'm saying like that's like a waste of his talent.
Yeah.
It's not like, I mean, he's still young. He still can hit the ball really far. And I mean, Bob at Bob's Pub pitched into him a 25-mile-an-hour fastball. Tim's going to jack that every single time. Like, that's not going to be fun. I don't want to go play a team that has Tim Tebow on their team. Like, I'm going to just not show up to bar league anymore.
Right.
I don't like it. He needs to just go back behind the broadcast desk or come work at Brew Sports.
I think he should go back to broadcasting as well. But I've said that from the start. So
You have.
That's
I agree.
nothing new.
Seems a bit foolish in my professional opinion.
Yeah.
You look like you had something else you wanted to say.
No.
You were licking your lips to say something.
Yeah, I was, but it was completely irrelevant.
You had a question for me, I remember.
That's
you
what I was
told me.
gonna. That was what.
We
was
can
gonna come
transition. I mean, here, you know that I like your transition.
Yeah.
And I'm really good at finding that like little speck and being like, and we're over here now.
Right.
Figure out a way to transition from Tim Tebow to your question.
So I'm not good with transitions.
So speaking
of Tim Tebow sucking, think about all those fans that used to be his football fans. Now he plays baseball, and they have to transition into being baseball Tim Tebow fans. How do you feel? Okay, so I have a question for Baxter because everyone knows I'm a diehard Preds fan, right?
Last I heard.
However, when I started liking hockey, I was a Blackhawks fan because I lived with people from Chicago, and they are the people that got me into liking hockey. Then I interned for the Admirals, and that's how I became a Predators fan. So if you look on my Facebook, yesterday I posted a little boomerang of me shimmying with a girl I was bartending with. And I said, I've never liked doing chores, but boy, does sweeping Chicago feel good, or something along that nature. And someone went back on my Facebook and found a picture of me in a Blackhawks hat.
That's dedication, first of all.
Correct. I have a feeling this guy talks a lot of crap every time the Predators play the Blackhawks. So I have a feeling that he's just had this brewing.
You think he's just got like a folder of pictures of you in Blackhawks gear
Yeah,
just sitting on
maybe.
his computer?
Maybe.
It's a little sketchy, but whatever.
So he, the very first comment, it was like right after I posted it, he posted a picture of me in a Blackhawks hat. And then I said, I'm not afraid to admit that I used to be a Blackhawks fan. Which is, I think, is okay.
Right.
For you to learn a sport, you have to like a team, and then to change and like another team. So my question to you is it okay for someone to switch teams? Because I know plenty of people who like two teams of the same sport, but if they battle each other, they have a favorite team. I don't like the Blackhawks now. Do I still have a Blackhawks t-shirt in my closet? Yeah, because I just haven't thrown it out yet. Will I cheer for the Blackhawks against anybody? Probably not, because I would rather cheer for like whoever. I don't know. Maybe it's Chicago's fan base that made me hate them, or maybe it's because they're in the same division as the Predators. But I just want to know if you think it's okay that people switch teams.
So I can get on. I have a weird way to respond to something like this, and I'm hopeful that people also chime in with this as well too. like so ask your official question one more time. That way, if people are just tuning in, what answer you're looking for.
The answer I'm looking for is it okay to follow a team and then flop to another team while following a specific sport?
Okay, fair enough. So Luis actually answered your question right away. He said it's a sin to change your team, at least in soccer, and that is exactly what I was going to say as well too, Luis. I have teams that I follow in every league. I've been a Packers fan since the beginning. I'm a fan of players, but I support one team. I was the kid that was a Packers fan growing up, but I had a Tom Brady jersey. I had a Kansas City Chiefs jersey. I had a Peyton Manning jersey because I liked those players.
Right.
But on Sunday, I always put my Packers stuff on as like, I am a Packers fan. I think that within reason, it's okay to switch. It depends on the circumstances. If you grew up in Memphis your entire life and you're a Grizzlies fan, and then the San Antonio Spurs offer you a job in marketing, whatever, and you're working with the Spurs, and all of a sudden you start to be around Spurs, mentally it's hard for you to be like, I'm still a Grizzlies fan. Like, if you switch over, I think in that case, it's okay because you're supporting the team that is paying you and giving you a life. Whereas if you were a Memphis fan for 20 years, and then all of a sudden Memphis just hasn't been good.
You're like, holy shit, I love Cleveland.
Yeah, I was about to say, Cleveland's been doing well. I think I'm going to go cheer for Cleveland. That is where I would have a problem with it, where you start coming out like, I've been a Cleveland fan forever. Like, that was the big issue with Seattle, with the Seahawks, when they were winning the Super Bowl. Everyone's like, I've been a Seahawks fan for years. I'm like, name 3 players previous to the Seahawks team. Like, I hate the bandwagon fans, and they happen every year. I completely understand that. That's how sports work. But no, I don't necessarily agree with the fact that people should be able to switch teams because they just want to support a winning team.
Right. And I think it would be different if I was a Predators fan working for the Admirals, and all of a sudden I was like, man, they only made it to round 2 last year, and they didn't make it the year before, whatever.
Right.
I'm now a Blackhawks fan. I think that would be completely different.
Yes, and I would agree with you on that one too. It's one thing to... And that's what people have been asking me, like, oh, are you going to make your son be a Packers fan? I'm like, no. I'm like, will I have the Packers games on? Will I talk about liking the Packers? Will I talk about Wisconsin sports to my son? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, I want him to choose the teams he's going to support because I believe in that. I don't ever want to be that parent that forces it on their kids. I mean, my son could be like, you know what, Dad, I really don't like sports. I want to be in ballroom dancing, or I want to be a chef, or I want to be a teacher. Be like, okay, great, I'll support you. Like, you don't have to like sports. Like, that was the biggest thing that killed me right off the bat too. When my son was born, it's like, oh, he's gonna play soccer, isn't he? I'm like, I don't know. If he wants to, he can, but I'm not gonna force it. If he wants to play baseball or be a swimmer or play lacrosse, like, good for him.
Right.
I'm not gonna force it, but I do agree with you in the sense that within reason, I think it is okay, but it's all about how you get into the sport.
Okay.
I mean, trying to think if there's any. I don't have an example like that where I started cheering for one team and I was like, oh my gosh, and then I switched, because like every team that I cheer for, which is not very many, all has an origin story that all keeps me with those teams. Like, I've always liked a lot of players on other teams, but I've always come back to supporting just one team.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yep.
A couple of people chiming in on Facebook. Josh says, changing teams is fine, but don't go treat it like a crazy X and go back. True. So, like, if the Blackhawks had swept the Predators and all of a sudden Jaymee came in today with the Blackhawks jersey on,
that would
be like, go Hawks! We'd have been like,
what?
Okay.
Yeah, that wouldn't happen.
That would be bad.
Don't worry, guys.
Sarah says, started watching baseball as a Cubs fan, started watching baseball as an adult, so I didn't grow up with them. Go Brewers!
See, it happens all the time, and, like, a Blackhawks fan was like, hello, this happens all the time. I love when this happens. Okay.
Everybody becomes a fan in their own way. Like, that's my favorite thing about sports, is that you don't even have to live in the same area to support the teams. Like, I have a friend in Florida, and Marcelo, if you're watching, good morning. My friend Marcelo has lived in Florida his entire life. Well, he came from Bolivia with his family, now lives in Florida full time. He supports the Pittsburgh Steelers for football because the granddaughter or I don't remember exactly, of Dan Rooney and Art Rooney, who just recently passed away, the Steelers owner, went to the high school that he went to. And he became friends with her and became a Steelers fan and liked the organization because of that.
Okay.
I mean, one of our soccer correspondents, Simon Mitchell, he's been on the show before. He's a Chargers fan and he's a White Sox fan, but he lives in England.
Yeah.
You know, like he chooses his, I forget how he chooses his team. We'll have to ask him again how he chooses his teams, but it's so interesting how people choose their teams, because you don't have to live here.
Right.
Like, I mean, I don't live in England, but I support Arsenal as a soccer team.
When I went to the Packers-Giants games, obviously there's a bunch of random Packer fans there, and we started talking about, how did you become a Packers fan? Oh, my uncle's granddad's girlfriend's brother. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
There's something that has to do with it, when they could have easily been a New York or Patriots fan living that direction. So I just want to know your input on it, because I didn't feel like I was wrong for flopping teams, especially because it wasn't like,
You're
the
not.
Blackhawks won the Stanley Cup. Like, ooh, let me be their fan.
Well, and that's the thing. You could have easily been that fan, though, and been like, we've won 3 cups in 4 years. Like, clearly, I'm going to be a Blackhawks fan.
Right.
I'm sure there were more people that were in the Chicago vicinity or in the hockey world. Like, it's okay to become a fan of a team that just won a championship if you are a new fan.
Yeah.
I don't want to have a Colorado Avalanche fan switching to be a Predators fan now that they swept the Blackhawks. Like, pick a team.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have a hockey team that I support. Like, I really liked the Red Wings growing up, and because I liked Steve Yzerman, I think, was on the team, and Paul Kariya. Like, I love those guys. I'm like, oh, that's super cool. But I didn't follow hockey very closely, but I would occasionally check the Red Wings scores. But I would never say I'm a Red Wings fan, because hockey just wasn't my thing.
Right.
So I totally understand where people are coming from in that regards. Luis also giving us a couple more examples. He says, example here where he lives down in Peru, which is awesome, by the way, that he's watching us from Peru. He says, I'm a fan of Alanzia Lima, here in Peru fan, but I have sympathy for Real Madrid and the Patriots as well, too. He said Patriots because he has family in Boston.
Nice.
So that makes a lot of sense. I mean, if I had family, like, I have ancestors in Italy. So I support the Italian national soccer team, but I also support the United States soccer team because, of course, I live here. But anytime Italy's on, I will make it a priority to watch it because I like supporting my heritage.
Gotcha.
I think that makes more sense.
Yep.
Brew says, go Brew Crew, hashtag fear the beer. Is that a thing? Hashtag fear the beer?
I didn't know that.
I don't know if that's a thing.
It is
But
now.
Brew would know because he's always at the forefront of the scenes of the trending topics. So, I mean, if fear the beer is a thing. The Brewers won yesterday. They beat the Cardinals.
Nice.
They're, I believe, either in first place or darn near close to it in Central. Don't quote me on that because I don't know. But it's very intriguing. That is very true, though. And I like the way that you asked that question. I think that a lot of people don't always know. I mean, that was even as new leagues form, as new teams form. I mean, that's always the thing that I asked about, like the Texans or like even like the Vegas Raiders. Like, are people living in Vegas going to become Raiders fans? A lot of those people are probably fans of other teams.
Right.
How does that work? You
Yeah.
know, especially from a hockey team perspective as well, too. Like, it's one thing to move a franchise to there. So, of course, Oakland's fans are going to follow. But if you're starting a brand new franchise, like kind of like Houston Texans, too, like where did all those fans come from? Probably were a bunch of Cowboy fans for a long time.
Right.
And then they migrated over. Do you hate those people because they used to be Cowboy fans? I guess I don't know. Crazy indeed. A very good morning to all of you people tuning in and watching as well, too. Like we mentioned, we are asking a bunch of questions this morning. Will you attend an NFL game this season? Also, what is at your tailgate? And then Jaymee asked the question as well, too. Is it okay to switch your fandom based off of what grounds again? I feel like I keep forgetting.
I don't know if they're just if you're allowed to switch.
Are you allowed
and
to
not because they're like you're switching to a better team because they're winning.
Right.
Out of just pure
I want to
experience.
Yeah, I feel like I think a lot of people are going to have mixed emotions on that, depending on the sport. Charlie just straight up says no. I'm assuming that's an answer to, are you attending an NFL game this season, or are you just saying no as a whole, Charlie, to what Jamie's saying about is it okay to switch teams? So help us clarify on that one there, Charlie. We'd be appreciative of that. What else do we have today? I know it is Flashback Friday, but I know that sometimes we have other things hanging around as well, too. But did you have anything else that we needed to talk about before we flashed?
No, I don't think so.
So the way our Flashback Friday segment works is we look back at things that took place in the sports world this week that we've talked about, but we also look back at our own specific days in our history.
Correct.
So this week as a whole was one of those situations where we talked about a lot of different things. I mean, really yesterday I feel like was the big topic that got a lot of people fired up. We were talking about if players should be required or not to attend the White House. And that got a lot of people fired up yesterday, one way or the other. And I think that was great to see something like that taking place. And so I would be more than willing to open that floor back up again if people did have comments about something like that. I know that some people were like, don't mix politics and sports. And we weren't even trying to do that. We were just asking the question. That's all we were trying to do, So that I thought was a really well tracked, really well timed segment as a whole yesterday. So a big thank you to everybody that chimed in yesterday. What else did we talk about earlier in the week? We talked about me hating hipsters. We opened the week by me basically calling hipsters foolish people. Our hipster, I saw, I don't know. You were making fun of me for yelling at hipsters.
I was.
So what? I would
Baxter's
be happy
a hater.
I'd be happy to get back on the hipster haters again.
He's a hater. We also talked about United screwing it up again.
Scorpions!
Talked about the Ball family for the one and only time this week.
Wow.
Yep.
That's
that was nice.
Unbelievable. Mm-hmm. That should be a record right there, I feel like. I feel like we should feel proud about not talking about the Balls more than once this week.
Yeah.
That makes me very happy. Looking back on my life, a lot of soccer articles that I posted because I was a writer back in the day. What else? Did I do anything else? Posted some senior pictures. Called one of my friends a sexy hoe on Facebook. Doesn't want to go to football tonight. Tongue face. Tired beyond belief. Oh, I also got asked to prom by my friend Christina.
Nice.
Thanks, Christina. That was a fun prom. I enjoyed that. We were both really good friends, and neither of us originally had dates. Well, I told you that I got stood up by one of my prom dates, and I was telling my friend Christina about that. Like, I didn't get stood up in the sense like I asked her, she said yes, and then like a week later she's like, just kidding, I can't go with you anymore. I'm like, wow, cool beans. And I was telling my friend Christina about that, and she was like, well, I don't have a date, and you don't have a date. How about we date for each other to our respective proms, because she went to a different high school than mine. I'm like,
Gotcha.
oh, absolutely. So it was really fun, and it was a lot of fun. Good stuff indeed. What about you? What was your life like this?
Well, as we all know, I usually have some cheesy quote.
I never knew what love was.
Yeah, I got one. I think this is a lyric from a song.
Probably.
7 years ago. Today was a fairy tale. You were the prince. I used to be the damsel in distress. I don't even know what that means. And then after that, something about dress shopping. I went to a Padres Brewers game.
You.
Oh yeah, 2 years ago when Chicago was playing the Blackhawks, and
when Chicago was playing the Blackhawks?
when Nashville was playing Chicago, and the puck got stuck in Pekka's pads, so it disappeared.
Yep.
No one could find it. That happened 2 years ago. I believe that was the year it also went into like double overtime, and we were up super late because it says all I want to do is sleep, but there's hockey to be watched. Please don't go into more overtime.
Right.
And that was at midnight.
Mm.
Other than that,
not much.
pretty boring.
Yeah, it happens.
Boring in the life of Jaymee.
Boring in the life of Jaymee. Looking at a couple more comments here on Facebook. Josh says, no to the NFL game, better experience on TV, and I can take that, my gosh, and use that money. Wow, I'm just burping left and right. Trying to talk, and I'm just burping over myself here. I promise I'm a gentleman. Good Lord.
Oh, boy.
Anyway, he says he'll take that money and use it towards Milwaukee Wave tickets. I agree. It's a good idea. It's fun and exciting soccer to watch. Brew says, tailgate. Oh, okay. Brats, burgers, jello shots, potato salad, nachos, bags, a TV, winky face, frisbee, football, Spotify playlist, Tully. What is Tully?
Tell him we're due. It's a whiskey.
Oh. I was like, if it's something to do with alcohol, I'm just going to look at Jaymee. I'm sure she'll tell me what it is. Let us know what's at your tailgate. We are wrapping the show up here shortly, but we are asking if you will attend an NFL game this season and what is at your tailgate. Trying to get some ideas, as I'm going to hopefully try to do some tailgating myself, of course, for the upcoming NFL season. Brewer season, of course, is in full swing. NBA playoffs. You don't really tailgate an NBA playoff game, or just NBA games in general. I don't know a lot of people that tailgate. Do you?
No.
Doesn't seem like a tailgate sport.
A tailgate yesterday for the Brewers. Or the Bucks. Wow. For the Bucks.
We're both just
There's a tailgate
off our
going on.
rocker this morning, I guess.
Going off of what Josh says about no to the NFL game because he'd prefer to watch it on TV. I got in a fight with someone once. Not like a fight, but like an argument with someone at the bar.
Jamie's been getting in a lot of fights recently.
Yeah, I have. Who was trying to tell me that watching... I was saying that hockey is the best sport to watch live. Not just because I love hockey so much, but I think if you go to a live hockey game, the intensity and how fast it is and
yeah,
the pucks
absolutely.
and the skates and everything, it's crazy. And I would prefer to watch it over a live NFL game. And these guys are like, it's just because you like hockey that you're saying this. Like, have you ever been to a regular Packer game? Like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, but football was made for television. And they were like arguing with me back and forth and back and forth. And then finally at the end of our argument, they were like, well, I've never seen hockey live anyways. And like, then you can't have this argument with me because all of That's the whole point of this conversation.
I will be honest. I mean, people might make fun of me for this or say that I'm foolish, but like I've been to NFL games, and yes, they've been preseason games, but still, I've been to NFL games, and I find myself bored.
Yeah.
Like, regardless of how good or bad the action is, like I'm sitting there, like I feel like it's just it's 75,000 of my closest friends watching the game, but we're all on our phones or we're all like doing other stuff because the game is like you
Right.
said,
It's so
much
stop and
better.
go.
It is. It's so much better for TV. I would rather watch an NFL game on TV or be in the broadcast booth calling the game instead of sitting in the stands as a fan.
Yeah.
But I rather would be in the stands as a hockey fan. Much rather do that.
Me too.
I'm kind of hit or miss for soccer. I don't know for sure about that one just because I know soccer keeps expanding. Like I said, I'd rather be in the stands for a baseball game. Basketball, I'd probably rather be in the stands as well. I'd rather be calling a basketball game. But yeah, certain sports I can't bear watching them on TV, let's be honest. So my thoughts, my opinions. A couple of things here, of course, tossing out, looking for the last bits of comments from everybody this morning. Of course, it has been great to see all of you amazing people giving us your thoughts and feelings this morning. Last check of the comments before we get out of here. Because it is the weekend, we're ready to get the heck out of here. Josh agrees with you. He says that hockey is much better in person. Luis says, I will never forget the first tailgate I went to with a crying face. Apparently he was very passionate about that. Oh, it's good. Good.
Yeah,
Good
no,
to be
I-
passionate. Be passionate, Luis. Support that. I don't know. People get excited about it. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I watch it.
Tailgates are great.
Love a good tailgate. I don't know. Anything else?
I think we've covered it all.
I think so. It's been an interesting show. It's been an interesting week as a whole, I feel like, but still a lot of fun nonetheless. So, what are you doing this weekend? Anything fun?
I have the first weekend off.
What?
Yeah, Friday to Sunday I
Dear
have off.
God.
I mean, I have to work after this, but then Friday night through Sunday all day I have off.
Wow.
I'm dog sitting, so I'm going to do a lot of dog stuff.
A lot of dog
Take her on a
stuff.
lot of walks. Probably take her to the beach. Probably going to go to brunch on Saturday.
Brunch.
I don't know. I'm really
You're
excited.
just like, what do I do with my hands?
Yeah.
I have so much free time.
I'm really excited
That's very
to do
exciting.
nothing. I'll
Huh.
clean my house or apartment, but other than that, I'd say I'd watch some Game 5 hockey, but we don't need to because they swept the Blackhawks.
Get it. Yes, I love it. Get it. Get excited. I'm playing babysitter tomorrow. My wife has a bachelorette party all day for a good friend of ours, so Beckham and I are going to hang out all day.
Nice.
So if you need brunch buddies,
Nice.
he doesn't eat much, but he hangs out. So Beckham, I could put a little bow tie on him or something. We could come chill. Aside from that, I mean, Sunday, I think we're just chilling on Sunday.
Yeah.
That's usually what happens at our house. We either have a lot or nothing, which is great.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm supposed to go to we have our first playoff game night, the Admirals do, so there's a viewing party that I'm supposed to go to, but I think I might be sick.
something in the air in here.
Yeah. So
Bummer.
we'll
Well, we
see.
should probably go before we catch malaria or some other
Sounds good.
sort of terrible thing. But you guys have been awesome. Thanks so much for hanging out with us this week. We'll be back again on Monday at 7 a.m. Central Time, 8 a.m. Eastern Time, wherever else in the world you are. Of course, do the conversion rate and figure it out yourself. But we appreciate you swinging by. Social media is the best way to keep up with everything that we've got taking place on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We are at Brew Sports Net. Our website is brewsportsnet.com. She is Jaymee Evers. I am Baxter Colburn. Thanks to Ian DeMars for swinging by today as well, too. It's been a lot of fun. Enjoy your weekend, Jaymee. Enjoy your weekend as well, too. We'll see you guys next time on The Morning Brew. Have a great weekend, everyone.